Hello, internet, and people that are, I guess you want to call it, people that watch my channel or have seen videos that I make about the ongoing struggle we have with the drug war and all that, mainly the marijuana laws that have been changing depending on where you live. So basically, lately I've been kind of weird. If you're someone that watches a lot of my videos, you might have noticed that I was making videos kind of frequently lately, and then all of a sudden, weird. Like I just dropped off a little bit, or in fact, like I uploaded a video at the same time as right after I found out that I got robbed. I hit the upload button, and I was so in shock and stunned Sunday morning after I got home and found out that I got robbed. It was like I didn't even know what to say. I didn't even know what to title the video. I remember making the video and what it was about and shit, but I was numb, man. I couldn't even think. But like I'm starting to get my bearings back a little bit, and yeah, I'm not even using the mic right now, so the audio might suck on this. But yeah, basically, I couldn't even imagine making a video, but shit still happens, so you gotta like think about, well, I could just skip making the video about this or whatever. But and then all of a sudden, a couple days ago, Colin from My Legalize called me and was like, "Hey, you want to meet and do that interview?" And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I met him, did the interview. It cheered me up a lot, took my mind off of the robbery, and quite frankly, everything going on with my bills and shit. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about it. Me and my partner in life, who was also one of my patients, we went to Detroit to go to Nonsense Night, which is Zach and What Army is the guy that throws these parties or whatever you want to call them, and they're just like a bunch of artists, and it's like a collective. People came in from all over the country to perform and stuff, and we didn't stay for the whole thing. We ended up leaving before it was over, and it's about an hour drive to get home. When we got back, yeah, I walked up to the front or the back door of my house, and it was wide open. And I walk in, and the drying racks are all gone. My closet was ripped open. That was it. That was the only thing missing from my house. And I don't have a whole ton of, valuable, expensive stuff laying around, but there was definitely a lot of stuff that didn't get taken. Like, this wasn't some kind of a well thought out burglary where they knew we were going to be gone for hours and came in and, set up shop and made sandwiches and stole everything that was worth anything. I mean, there was a lot of easy to grab stuff that they didn't take. So they were just here to take the weed. And then, I went out to the garage instinctively. Like that was the first thing I thought was, well, they had to steal the stuff in the garage. And yeah, they did. And even in the house, besides the drying racks, there was a couple of jars still behind from the crop that was previous to this one, and there was probably about, I don't know, 7 or 8 ounces there. But in the garage, they took 2 crops. One that was definitely ready to cut down, and one that would have been ready to cut down in about 4 weeks. So it wasn't even halfway done. It was the plants clearly didn't look like they were ready to harvest. So I don't know what the hell the point of that was, but the effect of it was that I am now, that much farther away from a harvest. And in fact, I'm not going to be able to harvest anything until mid-September. So sometime in October, I might be able to start getting back on my feet. I have 5 patients, and I'm in the medical marijuana caregiver in the Michigan medical marijuana program. And if you don't know what that program entails, it's the 2008 program, by the way. Um, Caregivers are not allowed to sell their weed to people, and patients, you're supposed to be like compassionate and, basically charge them the very bare minimum or whatever. And I'm not going to get into the business of how I conducted business. I'm not going to get into what I did to make money, but I will say this: besides being a disabled veteran that only gets 20% disability, so I'm getting like $250 a month, I don't really make a whole lot of money. All right, to say the least. All the money I make goes right back into this business, which ain't even a business because I don't really make any profit. I have a lot of expenses that go into making sure everybody gets proper medicine. And yeah, I have 5 patients. They range in age from, low 30s to low 60s. And they all, were on opioids, Xanax, Lexapro. I don't even know the names of all these pharmaceuticals that these patients were on, but they have all since basically gotten themselves to where they just use medical marijuana. And none of them want to lose me as a caregiver. Like, this is like devastating news to them. Because not only did their immediate medicine get deprived from them all the way until October, they also might lose me as a caregiver, and they don't know anybody else that's like me. I mean, especially the older people, which is pretty much all of them. Well, 2 of them are in their 30s. The rest of them are over 40. Maybe 2 of them are over 50. One's almost 70. A Vietnam veteran. He might even be 70. I don't know. So yeah, I mean, what more can I say about what happened except for that it's pretty crazy, and I feel very violated. I basically don't feel like I can leave my house now until I don't know what to do. It ain't like I had lax security around here. It was pretty tight, and I probably in the background of this video I'm gonna have pictures of the stuff that happened. Somehow, worked into this video. But basically, yeah, like it was a small window in the garage that they somehow jimmied the window open, and then they punched the wall, which was a plywood sheet where they punched it, and it was bolted in there with 10 screws. But somehow they pushed that wall off of the screws, or some of the screws came out of the stud, and then they somehow managed to get in to a window that was only 6 inches by 14 inches. I mean, this is like almost impossible for anybody to get in this window. To be honest, when you look at how they did it and what they did, and how they got away, because I followed a trail of leaves to a road that's like a road before my road on the main road, and I have some woods behind my house. So obviously they went to the other side of the woods, and their car was parked on that road, so none of my neighbors could see the car. So anyway, the stuff I'm doing right now is kind of telling you about the crime and like how they did it or whatever. And I don't like to spend too much time on that now that it's already something that happened. We can get into that kind of stuff, but I did have something else that I was going to talk about. And I might as well go through that right now too, since I've already been talking about the logistics of the robbery and stuff. That would be the suspect list. And what is a suspect list, you say? A suspect list is also something that I don't like to spend a whole lot of time on. talking about, because I fight my hardest every day to not think about it. And what it is when you get robbed and you don't know who did it, there's the obvious shit like, oh, it's somebody you know. Somebody had to know you, to know where the drying racks were or whatever. Well, my house isn't really that big. But yeah, they didn't really, it doesn't look like they went to any other closet and opened it up, or even went into this room next to my room. And, if they would have opened that door, there was a crossbow hanging on the wall. I don't know if that would have been valuable to anybody, but basically that door wasn't even opened. So it was like somebody just went right in my room. So you try not to think about it, but people always give you the ideas, oh, it's somebody from your neighborhood. Somebody was casing you out or whatever. And I mean, all these are great possibilities, and it's pretty, like, it's a exercise in, like, I don't know, frustration to start thinking about it. But what it really does is it makes you think that all your friends are the people that robbed you, or your family members, or your neighbors, and you start looking at everybody as a suspect. And that's just not productive. It's just not healthy. It's not going to solve anything. Even if I do know that the suspect is like, this guy here that's my friend, what am I going to be able to do about it? Besides go commit some kind of crime to get some retribution or revenge. I mean, if you got any suggestions about that to help ease my mind about suspects and this constant battle in my mind is to try to shut that down. So you just gotta let go of this blame thing, man, because finding out who did this shit, it would be a relief to know, because then I could make sure they didn't do it again somehow legitimately without committing the crime. But yeah, that leads me right into the next thing, which would be calling the cops and the insurance situation. So you don't have too much experience with medical marijuana in my town, but lately it's been really crazy. I personally have had experience with the police that come to my house, because where I live is there isn't really any police in this jurisdiction except for the county and state. So the police have been to my house several times when my grandma was still alive. Every time I had to call the ambulance or a paramedic, they would come too. They would come first, and they've been here. They've seen my house. They smelled my weed. They've asked to see if my med cards were current. I don't think and I've talked to cops that weren't here for that. On other situations, and they know who I am, and they know what I do, and they know that I'm legit. Outside of that, I don't know what they talk about when I'm not there or whatever, but I do know this. I make this channel, and they probably watch my videos. So if you're watching right now, the reason I didn't call you is because I don't like the scrutiny, and that's the reason that I also didn't do a local interview with Dave Bondi. The guy that's a local news reporter from Channel 25 News here in my area. And 25 is a NBC channel, but his material often also is used on their other channel that goes under their banner, which is a Fox channel, I think. I'm not sure. But anyway, the reason is because I'm just one person. And I know that the cops come, it's just gonna be scrutiny, and I don't know, I'm not sure. I just don't think that they could do anything for me. I mean, someone might say, oh, they can write a police report, so it's been documented, and you can get some insurance money or something. But I don't want to lie to the insurance company, because the only thing that was taken was weed. So I would have to have the cops come here first. And then they, I don't know what they would do, but as far as I know, it's just not necessary. I don't have any way that they're going to help me. What it would do, though, is it would add to the bad publicity of the residential caregiver system in Michigan, which isn't something that can easily be undone. So it ain't like they're really going to be able to tell people that they can't do this anymore. What they can do, though, is that they can enforce federal marijuana laws, or, and I've heard that they do this in Michigan all the time. Just go ahead and raid you, and then you got to deal with the judge and the lawyers and all that shit. Because to them, it doesn't matter. I've heard almost every time someone's got raided, unless it was specifically because of some plants they knew about that wasn't, hidden properly, or some other weird thing. If it was just about, we're going to raid you and take everything you got and deal with the judges and the lawyers later. Every time that's happened, I've heard that they don't even ask for med cards. They don't even bother with that. They don't care. They don't give a fuck. Your med cards isn't some kind of a wall that stops the cops from coming in. So, as long as I don't invite the cops in and we don't start off on that dialogue. If they're going to come in here and kick my fucking door in, there ain't nothing I can do about that no matter what, So, I guess it's just a kind of a precautionary thing. I have no problem with police officers. I just don't want to be, scrutinized because I got robbed. And that's another thing that the neighbors do. Last year in this neighborhood, we had some burglaries in the neighborhood. And none of the houses that got robbed were weed houses. They were all just regular, everyday people that had their houses broken into. And in one case, somebody behind me, they caught the person in the act, or they were home when they got broken into or some shit. And they chased the guy. He ran through the woods, ended up at my neighbor's house. And ever since then, our whole neighborhood has been on alert, because of that. So now, this could get out to the neighborhood. I've even told my immediate neighbors about it because I was looking for evidence in their yard. And it's instantly sheds a bad light on marijuana growers, because the neighbors all of a sudden are like, oh, now people are targeting this weed house, maybe, I don't know. What if they got a weed? What if they grow? Who knows? So we got that. That's one thing that sucks, but it's what it is, But so that's why I didn't call the news and try to do an interview, because although it might have been good for publicity for a fundraising situation, which I'll get into in a second, the sensationalism, I don't need it. All right, I don't need people to be like, oh, I seen you on TV because you got robbed. Everybody that knows me already knows I got robbed. Any complete strangers that stumble across me that want to help me out, fine. If you hear about my story and you want to help me out, that's great. But was I going to call he seen my post on Facebook and he was like, yo, this sounds like an interesting story. You want to do it? And at first I thought, that might be okay to do. And then instantly I remember, sorry, Dave Bondi and Channel 25, but you guys, every time you run a weed story, you run it on some kind of a slightly negative slant. And I've already seen you guys run stories about people getting their weed robbed. And it looks like you're trying your hardest not to frame it in some kind of a negative light. And it always comes off sounding like, oh, you just made the crime in your area go up. Oh, the neighbors have to be more vigilant now. Oh, this and that. I'm going to tell you, these guys that stole my shit, it took them probably less than 20 minutes. I highly doubt they had any guns on them or whatever. And then, all right, people have criticized me for trying to start a GoFundMe for this. All right, look, man, you can criticize me all you want. GoFundMe lets me have this fucking thing. It's good to go. And it is what it says. I'm not trying to get money together so I can buy a big bag of weed and pass it out to all my friends. This has nothing to do with anything other than surviving and paying my bills to make it to the next time when I actually might have weed. So this is going to cover my expenses from that window of time between now and October. And even probably some of the first of the month bills on October are going to really be something I'm going to be scrapping for then. But right now we're talking about whatever I still haven't paid in July, and then we have August and September. And, I'm just looking for my expenses and survival, operating costs, to make sure I'm here, to make sure these plants that are actually growing now that they didn't destroy or take, I got to get them through. I have 5 patients, man. And all 5 of my patients are up they're practically in tears about this. These are patients I've had for years. This is relationships that I've developed with people. I've helped these people overcome addiction. I've helped these people. One of my patients, who's a 62-year-old woman, grandmother, she just donated $300 to my GoFundMe. She don't want to lose me. She gave me a hug and was almost in tears. It is what it is, man. So it's a GoFundMe, no shit. People use GoFundMes in these types of situations. You know why? Well, it's called beg, borrow, or steal, dude. And whatever money I can borrow, I will, believe me. But it's not going to be shit compared to what I need. The money that I borrow is going to be like, okay, at the last minute when a bill is due, I'm going to have to borrow some money. And I don't even know where from, because I don't really borrow money from people. Never have. I certainly don't like to borrow money from my parents. If you guys are watching this, I don't like to do that. I try to avoid that at all costs. Because every time I see my mom, she's like, do you have my money? It's just not something I like to do. But, so yeah, I'm not over here trying to, like, get rich quick scheme, man. Like, it doesn't, you can say what you want about the amount of the GoFundMe that I'm asking for. Problem about criticizing it is you don't know anything about what my situation is. Me and the person that lives with me's situation is. And we have 2 pets too, but, and are we supposed to just, like, shutter our lives and, because we got robbed and just give up? And I can't give up, man, because this is all I got. This is what I do. So, yeah, GoFundMe might be controversial in these types of situations. But it's what it is, man. This is where we're at with the world today. I'm doing a great service to my patients, and yet I can't even barely, like, pay bills, and like, it's not like I'm getting paid good money to do this. I'm just getting compensated so that this can keep happening. People don't understand that, but I don't think I deserve to, like, lose everything just because I got robbed. If if this was any other situation, I would have called the cops, got the insurance money, I wouldn't even have missed a beat, be right back to everyday normal shit. But no, this is the world we live in, where you can be a medical provider for somebody and provide them with, compassionate medicine and not even get compensated enough to, like, survive a robbery or whatever. Now, one more thing about the GoFundMe, and then I'll be done with this whole thing. Like I said, beg, borrow, or steal. I don't steal. I'm not a thief. I hate to beg. Any other farmer out there, any other person that grows something for other people, has insurance, has grants, has subsidies. There's ways that they can hit the government up if they have to. Banks will loan you money. They have things that they've already, like, had to buy earlier that they could use for collateral, like big farm equipment and shit. I mean, if I could, I'd put my whole grow equipment, I'd put all my grow lights and ballasts and everything on, up for collateral on a loan. But I don't know anybody that loans shit like that. I have no idea. I'm just a quiet person that tries to keep to myself and mind my own business. I'm not out there, like, trying to figure out who even lives in this town. So that being said, if I do happen to figure out, because believe me, I'm working twice as hard at everything I can, producing clones and whatever I can do, I don't know how even, I can do more. But between now and whenever something's due, or when I'm basically about to the point where I don't know what to do anymore, I'm going to have to, I have no choice but to keep on asking, keep this GoFundMe around, That being said, I keep forgetting to finish this thought, but I will definitely take the GoFundMe down if something else happens and I got the money. Or conversely, if the GoFundMe is reached, I'm not going to ask for any more money than that. I will have achieved the goal of making it through this and getting to the other side. As far as my YouTube audience goes, I know I'm putting this on my channel, so you guys are going to be watching it, or maybe not, but it'll be there for you to see. But yeah, I mean, if you're somebody that watches my channel a lot and you like what I'm doing and you've never heard me ask anybody for money before, in fact, I don't even really put commercials on my videos anymore because I really don't feel like it's necessary, A, and B, I'm not getting paid shit from YouTube to do all this anyway. You know, I never really cared about making money off my channel or whatever. And like I've been pretty consistently saying that if and when the time comes when I have like 1,000 or 5,000, I would have to say more than 5,000 subscribers. Like I'd have to have somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 100,000 subscribers. Or every time I put a video down, it's got 1,000 or more views. When that shit happens, I might just think about a Patreon account. But in the meantime, I have no plans on hitting you guys up for money. But if you want to help me out, that's how you can fucking do it, you know? Go on over to that GoFundMe and throw me anything you got, man. $4.20. Just, you know, any donation amount. $5, $10, $20. Any amount is gonna help me out. Because I have a lot of friends, I have a lot of people that do respect what I do, and not only in the regards of my 5 patients who, as the word is spreading to their family and friends, they're coming around. So things are happening on the ground and things are happening online too. That's all I got to say, man. If you, like I said, please don't criticize this GoFundMe thing. I know people are gonna. People always, it doesn't matter what kind of cause you have with GoFundMe, people always find a way to criticize it. But to be honest, guys, that's the way the world works now. You don't know that? And you need to like figure that out real quick. And like I said to my audience on YouTube, I'm really not trying to hit you up, but I mean, you guys know me online more than probably some of my friends on Facebook that I've had for 10 years. So I don't know if you like what I'm doing and you want to support me in this crazy situation that I'm in. Feel free to go to my GoFundMe, or if you see me on that live stream, hit me up with some super chat. That's all I got, man. Peace out.